Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is the next major MCU movie after Spider-Man No Way Home, and it is currently going through massive reshoots. There are a lot of different reports about what is going on here. We even have some new information as to how some of what's happening in Doctor Strange actually affected the script for Spider-Man No Way Home. I want to break it all down and talk to you about whether or not we as Marvel fans should panic.
Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
What is up, everybody? It's Josh coming at you from Nerd Vengers Tower as per usual. This is a juicy one. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go through all the different reports, where this all started, what is being said in the trades, and why some new information is coming out that's kind of making me raise an eyebrow here. It's a very interesting tale. Now, our story begins with a video that Grace Randolph made several weeks ago where she talked about test screenings for Spider-Man No Way Home and test screenings for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I want to focus on the screenings that she reported about for Doctor Strange in this video. She reported that the film tested poorly and that due to that, they are doing massive reshoots for the movie. That was actually confirmed a week later by the Hollywood Trades. The Hollywood Reporter has a big article about that, which we will look at in just a minute. But I want to focus on Grace's initial report. She said two things in that report which are pretty interesting. Number one, she said that they are doing things to just make the movie better. Now, that's not necessarily unusual, as Marvel does a lot of reshoots for all of their movies. In fact, I believe they schedule reshoots for every single film, and they'll often overschedule for reshoots, knowing that they're really going to tighten it up and pull together a good project late in the game. But she also mentioned that they were doing a lot of fun cameos, adding in even more crazy cameos and people they couldn't get due to scheduling conflicts for these reshoots. I know there have been some debate about both of these reports. I believe both of them. I reached out to many people. The cameo thing is absolutely real. According to people I have talked to, they are putting in a ton of new cameos into this movie, and I kind of believe that one of the things they asked that audience at the initial screening was, how crazy did this movie seem to you? Was this a multiversal movie that really blew you away? And maybe they even tested a little soft on that, which made Feige say, hey, we've got to go get more crazy people. We've really got to open up our pocketbooks, sign some new contracts, bring in some crazy stuff. It's the Multiverse of Madness. This movie has to blow people away and set them up for things coming in the future. So I think that might be due to what they kind of always wanted to do, but what they, generally speaking, had in the movie may not have blown people away enough, and therefore they're getting even more people signed up to do cameos in Doctor Strange. Now, let's also talk about the movie just not hitting. We've been talking about for the past couple of months, I believe at this point, different plot leaks for this film. And although the plot leaks do seem really wild, they do seem a little bit all over the place. I mean, the movie seems like it does a lot, and there's a lot of jumping around between different universes. And I believe what might have happened is that these audiences that saw it just said, hey, this is kind of messy. There's not a good through line here, and it's more spectacle than substance. And so I believe those are the two big things that were sort of noted from those test screenings and why so many weeks of reshoots are now happening. Now, Benedict Cumberbatch actually did confirm that he's doing a ton of these reshoots. I believe it was on Good Morning America. But here's the official report from the Hollywood Reporter. Again, the trades are usually really, really good at getting actual information about what is going on. And this is Boris Kit and Aaron Couch, who are both really, really good at getting information. They both have a lot of good sources. I want to read a little bit of this article for you here. It says, Doctor Strange of the Multiverse of Madness, the Benedict Cumberbatch starring sequel to Marvel Studios' 2016 Cinematic Universe installment, has been prescribed some major reshoots. In what sources describe as a significant production, the new shoot taking place in Los Angeles comprises both additional photography and reshoots. How significant? Insiders say that Cumberbatch and company are undertaking 6 weeks of shooting, if not more, which is really interesting. Not many people are noting that. It could even do more than 6 weeks, and they are working 6 days a week. Sam Raimi remains as the helmer, and Loki head writer Michael Waldron is still on board writing the new material. He is literally writing new material, right? It is unclear what actors, in addition to Cumberbatch, are on the call sheet. The crew involved is familiar with Marvel's method of working, worked on recent pickups for upcoming Spider-Man No Way Home and additional shooting for next year's Oscar Isaac series Moon Knight. So what that means is the crew that is doing this reshoots, and it's a major amount of reshoots, has also worked on doing reshoots and pickups for Spider-Man No Way Home and for Moon Knight. So it's kind of like just a crew that they, generally speaking, use to do reshoots, right? It's pretty interesting. One source downplayed the severity of the reshoots. Even while in the middle of production, Marvel is scheduling you for more shooting, this person says, adding that the size and complexity of Marvel movies often necessitates additional photography. That's fair. We've had bigger reshoots on other MCU movies, another insider says. However, other sources raised their eyebrows at the 6-week time frame. They're here until the end of the year. That's like a whole other movie, said one of them. So I want to just tell you that only one source, it seems, downplayed the, well, it looks like maybe there's 2 people at least that downplayed the severity of the reshoots, but then other sources raised their eyebrows on it. What that kind of indicates to me is that it's sort of a split between what people are saying. Some people are saying like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Other people are saying like, bro, they're practically remaking this film, which is kind of interesting, okay? So here, let's continue on. Several factors appear to be driving the return to production. One insider, about 2 weeks are dedicated to principal photography that wasn't completed during the initial UK-based shoot due to what is described as an actor's availability issues. The insider also dismissed concerns that the reshoots were related to retooling the story. I believe that will likely have to do with Sir Patrick Stewart and maybe some more stuff with Professor Xavier, which is a big rumor coming up for that film. Okay, so they talk about some of the other issues that were going on with the movie due to like Rona and all that. But here, I'll end off by saying it says, still, despite story concerns apparently playing a minimal part in the new shoot, it is evident that working in the multiverse requires Reed Richards level thinking. Half the time, a Marvel movie has to tie to the past movies while setting up the future movies and increasingly TV series. Despite the major shoot underway, the mood with cast and crew is not downbeat. There is a pervasive enthusiasm, one source described. On Thursday, Cumberbatch spoke about the reshoots on Jimmy Kimmel Live, where he was asked if he knew what the reshoots were going to be. And he said, like everything with Marvel, it comes in fresh pretty much most mornings. Cumberbatch said with a laugh when questioned, it's really exciting and the film is shaping up to be something special. Okay. So before I give my full thoughts on what I think is going on there, I actually want to shift into a new article that's out there from GQ, and I'm going to pick up just a couple of things here that are said in the article. Murphy's Multiverse did a great job of grabbing bits of the new GQ interview with Tom Holland and pulling out interesting pieces. So this article here says Spider-Man No Way Home's plot was rewritten due to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness delays. So it says here, when it was officially announced that Benedict Cumberbatch would return as Doctor Strange in the third Spider-Man film, it made many wonder how it would tie into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The sequel was originally going to release on May 7th, 2021, until it got pushed back by an entire year, while the third Spider-Man film kept its original release. Well, in a new piece by GQ, they've highlighted that the film's plot was rewritten once they realized they had to postpone the Doctor Strange sequel due to the pandy. So, Multiverse of Madness was originally going to set up the multiversal madness that Peter's about to face, right? Before it was going to be Doc Strange first, then going into Spider-Man. So there was a chance that his wish to make sure no one remembers him that leads to the spell not working might have been added in once the delay arrived. Of course, that may have been part of the story, but the way they ended up unleashing it could have been changed. Holland highlights that the script was rewritten rewritten on a daily basis, especially for the third act. You could ask the director, what happens in the third act? And his response would be, I'm still trying to figure it out. It's not uncommon for the script to get rewritten as production goes on. Many lines are improvised, and sometimes what was put down on paper doesn't quite work out as one envisioned it originally. The writers, directors, and actors working together bring the final vision to life. It'll be interesting to see what they've gotten together once it releases next month. Okay, that's the first article. Here's another one. Some key actors hadn't signed on yet ahead of Spider-Man No Way Home's production start. All right, let's read here. It says there are countless rumors surrounding who may or may not appear in Spider-Man No Way Home. The latest trailer at least confirmed the appearance of the various villains that have been hinted at for over a year. Of course, we can't forget the rumors of former Spider-Man actors Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield having a role in the story. While enough has leaked and hinted at it, Sony still is playing coy on their appearance, and in a new interview with GQ, Tom Holland shared that production was extremely dependent on everyone signing on without confirming who exactly he is referencing. Some people were trying to figure out whether they wanted to do it, and we needed all of them or none. Holland highlighted that a lot of the film had to be rewritten, especially with the pandy postponing Doctor Strange. Still, they somehow managed to pull it off, and the actor's certainly excited for everyone to see what they managed to pull together. Okay, so couple of things that I want to talk about here. This is fascinating to me, okay? I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but there was a time period where they were filming stuff with, we believe, Tobey's stand-in before Tobey actually signed. They were filming Tobey stuff and Andrew stuff. And remember, there was this big kerfuffle because some people were saying, oh no, he's clearly signed. How could they be filming stuff without him being signed? And I believe we have a little bit of an insight into that due to this GQ article. What I had said back then and what I still believe to be the case is that very similarly to what the Russo brothers did in Civil War, they were likely moving ahead with something before actually knowing that they were going to sign the deal. I recall a lot of stories about how the Russo brothers were filming stuff with a stand-in for Spider-Man before they finalized the deal with Sony to even get Spider-Man, right? It's really bold. It's really crazy. I know some people couldn't believe it back then, but I believe that is what he is hinting at, that this whole production of Spider-Man was a crazy endeavor, and they were shooting stuff with other Spider-Man and thinking the other Spider-Man were going to be in there before Tobey even actually signed, which is pretty wild. On top of that, it shows that Marvel's structure of sort of creating these movies is very fluid, right? So after they delayed Doctor Strange, they had to rework a bunch of stuff for Spider-Man No Way Home. And so the whole process of shooting and creating Spider-Man No Way Home seems like it was a monumental task, something incredibly difficult to pull together. And from what we are seeing in these trailers, it looks like it is absolutely epic, and I can't wait to see what we get with this final product. But it is sort of worth mentioning that if you look at some of the VFX in even this most recent trailer, it really does seem like they are working right up against the clock. There's some unfinished CGI, or at least I hope that's unfinished CGI, even in this, the second official trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home. And so if you take all of that into consideration and you go back to this crazy amount of reshoots with regards to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you've got some people saying it's not that big of a deal. You've got other people saying this is pretty crazy. I think actually both things could be true, meaning yes, because this is, not just a Marvel movie, but one of the most ambitious Marvel films ever created. And it's really a 1-2 punch of super ambitious projects with No Way Home now tying into Multiverse of Madness and setting up the whole future of Phase 4 and the MCU proper. You can just understand that this is an incredibly difficult thing to pull together. And they are literally spending about the time you would shoot a whole regular movie to fix up Multiverse of Madness. So could you say, oh man, that's really crazy and that's a lot and there could be some stuff that goes wrong? Absolutely. But I think that amount of time is allowed to fix up some of the story for sure, add in some more juice with crazy fun cameos, and I just trust Marvel Studios to figure it out. And I think due to the Marvel formula, this is why they delayed Doctor Strange and all of the rest of the movies in Phase 4, because yes, Doctor Strange is going to set stuff up that matters for all the future films, and all the future shows. So yes, under the weight of their own ambition and some of that connective tissue, it does make things difficult. But ultimately, what I believe here is that this delay and this crazy amount of reshoots is likely exactly what the doctor ordered. And I have full faith that it will all come together and be pretty freaking brilliant. Now, let's finish off by getting slightly spoilery here. We'll talk about some of the things that are in the leaks and what I think they could change with this new film. I think the number one thing that might change is just how Darkseid Wanda goes. We've talked about this in the leaks in the past, and again, get on out of here if you don't want any spoilers. But Wanda goes pretty freaking dark side. It's got horror vibes. I think they're really going to push how just ruthless, evil, and ridiculously strong she's going to be able to be. She apparently has a big body count in the movie, killing multiple people, summoning crazy creatures like Shumagorath that cause a lot of damage, and they might want to pull back on that. That might be something that tested a little bit poorly with audiences because it might seem kind of out of nowhere for Wanda to go that hardcore. If I'm being honest, I hope they don't. I hope they leave this in and even push it up a little bit because I think it's actually really important for Wanda to go really far dark side to maybe explain how corrupting the Darkhold can be and what a problem superpowered people that can be susceptible to control are for the entire Marvel universe. But I can definitely see them maybe pulling that back. I also think just the many different jumps into other universes may be capped a little bit. I mean, from what we heard in the leaks, you sort of start with a Doctor Strange and Wong, and then they get killed, and then you have one of their bodies being brought into our universe where then you see Doctor Strange. There's apparently a portion with the Supreme Strange. They're going to hop into this Iron Legion timeline. They're going to hop into another timeline where you see the Illuminati. It just seems like it's a lot. So maybe they're going to sort of streamline that process and make it a little easier to understand, right? Maybe even visual changes to the characters to really sort of help audiences upfront realize, oh, that's a variant version of Doctor Strange, or that's a variant version of Wong, or et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the multiverse is a really complicated, kind of crazy thing for fans to grasp. And so I could see them maybe streamlining some of that, even cutting out some of the visits that they wanted to do. I don't know. I could just see that happening. And in fact, it's even being reported that a lot of the stuff with that group, the Illuminati that we talked a lot about, right? That whole entire sequence really does need streamlined. We might be spending too much time in different beats with different characters there and not just getting like an explanation of what that world is, why it matters, why there's a good Wanda there, and why Wanda is trying to possess her, and why, Xavier is going to basically try to free Wanda. Like, that might be a really convoluted part, and from what I understand, that is also something they might be looking to streamline. And to me, you could fix up all of that stuff and it doesn't destroy the movie. It could really enhance the film. I hope they keep a lot of the fun Illuminati stuff. I hope they keep evil Wanda, but I'm not going to be completely butthurt if they remove some of that stuff or tone it down, especially if it works to make the movie more digestible to sort of mass appeal audiences. So there you have it, folks. I don't think that we should panic, but I don't think you're crazy if you have some concerns about this. We're just going to have to wait and see. I definitely want to know what you think about it, so let me know in the comment section below. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to our channel, see more of our content pop up in your recommended feed, and go check out the live streaming channel, man. Watch parties are coming back. We're going to be doing watch parties for Hawkeye right into Book of Boba Fett, and we have a ton of fun over there in general, so go check it out. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.